blocking international help and only accepting it from Russia and China.
Anna Foster reporting there, and you can see in Anna's report that there are so many challenges facing humanitarian groups who are trying to get aid into and around Myanmar. Global Empowerment Mission is one of those organisations doing exactly that. Michael Capponi is the founder and CEO. And Michael, you join us from Kyiv because your organisation, GEM, has already done an awful lot of work in countries around the world, not least in Ukraine. I've seen some of the work that you were doing in Bucha, where the massacre took place, in trying to rebuild parts of Ukraine. Myanmar, a completely different situation. You've got a team in Bangkok already. Talk us through the complexities of getting a team of helpers and aid workers into a country like Myanmar.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, yeah, our military professional advanced team is in Kuala Lumpur. They're basically camped out there waiting on visa approvals. So we hope that that'll happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. But, we just don't know in a situation like this, right? It's all new territory. It's a very complex situation. We do have people on the ground that we've immediately hired, like fixer types that are giving us, all kinds of intel. The road today, for example, from Yangon to Mandalay, it took about 18 hours to get there with all the blockades. And you have giant, cracks throughout roads everywhere. And then you have all these, blockades that are going in detours and stuff. So once you can even get into, right, the basic main cities, and then you can get into Mandalay, then you have basically outside cities, right? You have Mataya, you have Maing, you have Natoji, and those cities are completely off limits. Those are like northern Gaza, in the middle of the war. So it makes like it's multiple layered of complexities, and we're just trying to get in there, immediately to be able to assess the entire situation first.
And I wonder, Michael, help us to understand how you even get contact with the fixers, because right now, just to explain to our audience, we're looking at images shared by your fixers, and you've now shared with us, so thank you, of the condition of the roads. The elements, parts of them reduced to absolute rubble, some that are unpassable. How do you reach out to fixers? Because obviously they have to adhere to the military junta as well, so that adds such a level of complexity to do the most basic of work on the ground.
Yeah, well, I guess sometimes we just get lucky and God gives us all the right people. So we have military professionals, they know people inside, and they already have a team together that's ready to go. But until we can go in there with resources, there's not going to be much that we're going to be able to do. So you have the first part, which is, how to get the aid inside the country. And if you can't do that, then some aid can be immediately purchased in the country, but then you got to be able to get it, right, into Mandalay. So those are all things that we're going to have to learn in the next few days. Another thing that's, important for people to understand is when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, the first month they were reporting 64 fatalities, right? And then it turned to 3,000. So you have two elements to this. You have one, that if aid doesn't come in quickly enough, all those people with just bleeding on their arms, with, all kinds of things that are going to happen, they're going to die, which they could have been saved if people and teams would have gone in there earlier. So you have an aftermath death that like completely increases. And then the numbers that are right now are probably extremely off also, because from what we hear, just from the fixers alone, there's tens of thousands of people still that, are basically missing or just, under rubble right now, and nobody knows. So it's a very complex situation, and we really need to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the media organisations struggling to verify those figures as well. Michael Capponi from Global Empowerment Mission, really good to speak to you. Thank you for talking us through where your teams are, and fingers crossed they'll get those visas and get into Myanmar soon.
Yeah, thank you. And you can always learn more about us on globalempowermentmission.org. Thank you.
Michael Capponi.